Hello and welcome. On today's video, we will be talking about how to become her, how to step into the best version of you. In this video, I will share the secrets and the shortcuts that you can start applying into your life today in order for you to become the woman that you admire. Instead of looking at other women to admire, I want you to become that woman that you admire, that other people admire. So in this video, I will be sharing a few things that you shouldn't be doing and the things you should do and what to replace in your life to really become that feminine, maybe even divine feminine woman. If you are searching for a masculine man, that means he will want a feminine woman. He will want a woman that's soft, that's in her best energy. She loves life. She is just like living and thriving, and that's the type of woman that masculine men want. And on this video, I will help you become her. So you know that feeling when you walk into a room and you see a beautiful woman and you're like, wow, like I want to be like her, right? So I want you to become that woman that when you walk into a room, other women feel what you just felt for that woman. They feel, wow, who is she? I want to be like her. I want to become her. So these shortcuts, these secrets, they will help you become that woman. So let's dive into it. Um, and I want to say that feminine beauty, feminine energy is not just about the makeup and the dress, and the heels and dressing feminine. That's all part of it, but there's something more to it. There's something inside of you that needs to be turned on. It needs to be healed, and certain things need to be replaced because there could be two women wearing a dress, but men will be drawn to one versus the other one. Or she could not, maybe one could be wearing a dress, but the other one is wearing like jeans, sneakers, and men will still go for the woman in jeans. And you're wondering, well, why her? Like I'm the one in a dress, I'm the one that did my makeup, but it's something that it's inside of you. It needs to be, certain things need to be healed, certain things need to be replaced, and certain things need to be turned on. So let's dive into it. Here are the three things. If you don't get anything other than this out of this video, I want you to remember the three C's, the things that you do not want to do. And that is compare, don't compare yourself, don't compete, and don't chase. If this is the only thing you remember, is remember these things because all of these three things, they are masculine. So, let's go into deeper into it. Comparison. You can get inspired or motivated by another woman, but you should never really compare yourself to her. She is who she is, and you are who you are. So the only woman that you are comparing yourself to is who you were yesterday and who you are today, and who do you want to be tomorrow. That is your only comparison. It's you versus you, because when you compare yourself to other women, that steals your joy and that steals your confidence. That shows that you have insecurities, and insecurity is the opposite thing of confidence. So when you begin to be, kind of inspired, motivated by other women, but you don't really put them on a pedestal, this is why you don't really want to be influenced by influencers on social media, or um, you know, um, like artists, singers, or like actresses, right? Like it's somebody you want to, that motivates you, but they shouldn't be on a pedestal because she did a lot of work to become that type of woman, and you need to put that work into yourself. Instead of spending that energy on envying her, how about you put that energy into yourself and you become the best version of yourself? So don't compare yourself to other women because that will steal your confidence and it will steal your joy. Next thing is compete. Don't compete with other women, but also don't compete with men. We live in a very masculine world. It's a patriarchy. So you think that, oh, if I have all of these degrees, a man will want me. If I am a hustler and I have this amazing like work ethic, then a man will want me. If I bring certain amount of money to the table, a man will want me, right? So all of that is competition. It is all, it's kind of like competition with the masculine world. And actually, the more you heal your feminine, the more easier it will become for you to earn money. Instead of feeling like you have to chase money, you have to earn something. No, the more you heal, the more it starts coming to you. This is why we see women that they don't work hard, but somehow they're making money from their feminine energy. Sometimes, you may see like, oh, she opened up a business, like maybe a bakery. Like she loved making cupcakes, and now she has a thriving business out of making cupcakes. So it's something she was passionate about, and it's very feminine, and it now brings her money. So you can make money, earn money in your masculine energy. And that's kind of like when we see women that they really want to climb the ladder, right? Like the career ladder. And she's very in her masculine energy. Like maybe she doesn't even really want to get married. She doesn't really want kids. So she's kind of blocking off that feminine energy. And she's really stepping into that masculine because she feels that's the only way she will feel safe in this world is if she really like has financial like stability, and then she will be safe in this world. So she doesn't feel safe when she is not working as much. So finances are a big motivator for her. So without them, she feels like she's naked and she doesn't feel safe in this world. Um, so one way that you can start not competing in this world, or having the mindset of I can do everything on my own, which it's good to do things on your own, but there is this like fine line between I can do it on my own, but I also need men in my life. High value women, they don't like necessarily need men. Like they can be okay without them, but they understand like we live in a world where we need men. Everything that they built was built by men, so we can't be blocked off from the masculine world. We need to be in tune with it. We need to work in harmony. So one way that you can stop competing with the masculine is allowing men to open doors for you, is allowing men, maybe if it's a guy putting groceries into your car, maybe he can help you put the groceries in your car. So little by little, allow men to do these small gestures for you in your life. And this is how you will become less competitive, and less walls that you have built, these walls will begin to break. Yes, you want to have boundaries, but you shouldn't have walls against the masculine world. And the third C is chasing. Do not chase men and relationships. Because you want to take it off of a pedestal, because when you have something on a pedestal and you chase it so much, like you're craving it so much, it kind of like becomes an idol. And God says that you shall have no idols before me. The only thing that you should be chasing is your relationship with God, because when you chase God, he gives you everything that your heart desires. So if you see that you are chasing career, you are chasing money, you are chasing men, relationships, maybe you are in a hurry to have children. This is why you want a man in your life, because you want children. So you are in this chasing energy, and whatever you chase will run away from you. Um, because let me tell you a little secret. When you let go of the thing you want, it actually comes to you much faster than when you chase it. When you chase it, it runs away. But when you stand still and you know that it's coming, it will come to you like 10 times faster. So these are the three things that you want to let go of if you really want to step into that feminine woman, that woman that you really admire. Is don't do these three things: don't compete, don't chase, and don't compare. So now let's dive into what you can replace, and what you can start doing, things in your life that are more feminine. So, stepping into feminine energy really requires to be a balanced woman. It's the balance of being feminine when it's appropriate, and having that masculine energy, right? So, it's kind of like when nobody's there to open the door for you, you will open your own door. But if a man is there, you will allow him to open the door for you, even though like this is not your man. But because he's a man, he's allowed to open the door for you, especially if he's not with another woman. Um, that's what men are here for. Like we can build everything on our own. Um, it's okay if they build, it's okay to ask for help. So know when to become this like balanced, like become this balanced woman, because healing your feminine energy, it's kind of both. It's kind of like your logic, your mind, and your heart becoming in tune, and then that leads you into your intuition. Um, because if you've been in relationships that are abusive, that are manipulative, maybe you've been in relationship with narcissists, that means your intuition um, are asleep, or they are kind of like numb. You not really listen. So you may think that you are intuitive, but it's actually you're listening to your emotions and your feelings. Intuition, it's something deeper, and it's something that logically makes sense, and it's in tune with your emotions and your heart, and it becomes in tune. Now that is intuition. That is what you want to dive into. But if you've not been in a healthy relationship with men, maybe you've not been in a healthy relationship with yourself. Maybe you've been abandoning yourself a lot, like you don't have a lot of boundaries, you don't really communicate well about your needs and your wants, then your intuition is numb. So we want to awaken it. So, and this is where a lot of women think they are intuitive, but it's actually what they feel is their emotions and their feelings. And those feelings come from your thoughts. And the story that you are creating inside of your mind, because sometimes the story that you are thinking is actually not the reality. So for example, like you something happens to you, and then you begin to kind of like digest it. So whatever happened to you is the reality that you begin to create. Oh, they don't want me. Oh, like the man that I'm talking to, he didn't call me for a couple of hours, and then you begin to get all anxious. So then you begin to create a story, and then that story begins to create some form of feelings and emotions into you. So when he doesn't reach out to you, you think, oh, he doesn't like me. Maybe it's something I said. Oh my goodness, what did I do? What did I say? Right? So then you begin to overthink, and because you're overthinking, you're becoming anxious. But that is not intuition. That is just your feelings, and your feelings are dictated by the story that you are thinking in your head. So, um, and the reason why you want to heal this, it's because it goes of what you feel on the inside if you are empty. So trauma and wounds, they're kind of like leakages. Like if you have, your heart, and then if you've been traumatized or wounded, so there's all of these like holes that you want to create. And the reason why you want to heal these holes, it's because okay, I'll give you a few examples to make it more sense. This is why a lot of people, when they are sometimes traumatized, they go after money, right? And then they become millionaires, thinking that their money, their millions will save them. But what we see, what happens a lot is those millions are not making them happy. Those millions, once they get them, they're like, oh, I thought money would help me, but I still feel this emptiness, right? And then versus another person, they might be living a very basic life, but they are passionate about what they're doing. They love what they do. They love life. It's all because of their inner world, how they feel on the inside. So if they are not really traumatized, if they haven't really been wounded, but maybe they have and they've healed, so they're not running for external things to validate them. They have found fulfillment within themselves, and they don't chase money, they don't chase relationships. Whatever season they are in, they are happy with. If in this moment I am making 100,000, I am happy with that. If in this season of my life I am single, I'm gonna make the most of my single season, right? So it's really being in the present moment and being thankful for what you have right now. So it's getting out of that chasing energy. So the more you chase, the more unfulfilled you are. Um, so I want you to, so how do you do this? How do you transition from like chasing things and needing external validation? Is really awakening um, and becoming, so awakening passion, not for love, because that's going to be lust, but I want you to awaken passion for life. So everything you do, I want you to do it with love. This is so feminine. When you become passionate, not about love, not about men, because that's lust, that's going to get you somewhere dangerous, but you want to become passionate about your particular life. What do you do? And everything you do, I want you to become passionate. If you are doing, you wake up, you do your skincare, you become passionate about your skincare. You drive to work, I want you to romanticize you driving to work. Turn on your favorite music, set the mood up for the day for yourself. When you cook, also set the mood for yourself. Like light up a candle, turn on some music, right? So begin to become passionate about your life. This is like a game changer. When you become passionate about your own life, you become the woman that you will start to admire. Um, so, becoming this feminine woman is what I mentioned before. It's this like balance. And the way you balance is like feminine and masculine is, sometimes you're courageous, but then you're soft about being courageous. It's in being empathetic and you know what you feel, what your emotions are, but you also know when it's time to detach from people. You know how to emotionally detach from places, from things, from environments. You know when you've outgrown, when something is doing you harm, you know how to walk away. So this is actually the balance of feminine energy and masculine energy. The next thing is knowing how to go with the flow, but at the same time, your day is structured, your day is disciplined. So a lot of women, they wake up and they're like, "Oh, what do I feel like doing today?" La 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 la. They're in this like kind of girly state, which it's good, but you want to have structure. You know that when you wake up, you have your morning routine. You wake up and you maybe meditate, you pray, you journal, you have your cup of coffee. That's actually very structured. You don't just wake up and you think, okay, what is my day? No, no, no. You already know what you're going to do the morning you wake up. And then you have your cup of coffee, you're ready to go to work. It's a very different environment or atmosphere that you have created for yourself. So it's going with the flow of the day, but you have structure, you have discipline. You know that after work, you're going to hit the gym, you're going to eat your healthy meal, you're going to have your cup of coffee, and you're going to read your book and go to sleep, right? It's very structured, but it's very feminine. And if anything changes, you don't get overwhelmed because in the morning, you've already poured into yourself. You've already journaled. You've already had your quiet time. You had your quiet time by having your hot cup of coffee. You already poured into yourself. So whenever something happens during the day, you don't get like disrupted. But women that kind of go with the flow, anything that kind of like takes them out, like triggers them really quickly and they get very emotional and they get fearful. They're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do about it? So then anxiety kicks in. That is very opposite of what a feminine woman would do. She doesn't get easily triggered. She doesn't get easily anxious or kind of like thrown off her schedule. She's very cool, calm, and collective, and she knows how to respond without getting to like too frustrated or too frustrated. Um, Also healing your fear of missing out. Feminine women, they know how to live in the present moment and plan for the future. So you don't want to live in the past. This is where it kind of puts you in this like scarcity mindset and overthinking and depression and anxiety is when you don't really. So what you want to do is you want to learn from the past, learn the lessons, and prepare yourself for the future. This is why a lot of women like hold on to past relationships. Like they can't really fully say no to people and let them go and really start a new chapter in their life. So they're kind of dragging their past into their present and into their future instead of letting go of the past. So feminine women, they learn from their mistakes, they say, okay, like this is not for me. I'm going to let them go and I am going to choose wiser and do better going forward. Um, um, because when you let go of your past, you also learn to soothe your nervous system. Now I'm going to dive a little bit into like your nervous system because learning to regulate your nervous system is actually very feminine. And it's causing you to go from a wounded feminine energy into a healed feminine energy. So the woman that you admire has a healed nervous system. So it's very soothed and very soft. So it's the opposite of fearful and anxious and shame and guilt, right? A soothed nervous system looks like there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of peace, there's a lot of softness, there's a lot of abundance, there's a lot of a gratefulness, a gratitude mindset. So all of that is actually the opposite of a wounded feminine energy and a healed feminine energy. Because when you go into that softness, that is what masculine man will want. Because if your nervous system is anxious, it's got a lot of fear, it's got a lot of shame, guilt, that will not get you a healed masculine man. That will get you narcissists, that will get you manipulators, abusers, and actually men that are in their feminine energy. It's going to be that men that want you to do the whole 50-50. It's the men that don't open the doors for you. Those are the men that will attract into your life if you don't heal your nervous system. So, I want to give you kind of an example that kind of shows you your nervous system, kind of a visual. So, when you go shopping, you kind of have to be real with yourself. Sometimes, like, we're a large, but we're trying to buy something that's a small, and we say, but I'll fit into it. I'm going to go to the gym, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But what ends up happening, that thing, that piece of clothing that you bought that was not your size, it just ends up like hanging in your closet and you never really fully fit into that place. So you have to be honest with yourself. If I am a large, what do I need to do in order to buy this piece of clothing that's a size small? So you don't buy it in that moment. You get disciplined, you get structured, and you get yourself to get into that size small. So that size small thing that you want is actually the man that you want. So if you want a masculine man, you have to be real with yourself because right now you're not attracting him. Because if you were a size small, that man will be in your life. But right now, you're a size large. So this is why you are attracting narcissists, abusers, manipulators, because they can sense your nervous system. So what you are right now is kind of like the reality that you are in. So, this is not to make you feel bad, but in order for you, like this is your goal. Like you want a masculine man. So you have to be honest with yourself and say, okay, I just have to work on myself, work on maybe boundaries, maybe work through some traumas, maybe some wounds I have, maybe I don't have my standards are a little low. Okay, let's do this. Like, let's shoot for that size small. Let's shoot for that masculine man because I am tired of being this size large. It doesn't feel good to be in this body, to be wearing these clothes. I know I still look good, but I want to look even better. So a reflection of that is the type of men that are in your life, they are showing what you need to change. So those men are actually attracting to your nervous system. So your nervous system attracts men into your life. So if you want to be a small and attract masculine men, begin to heal your nervous system. So another thing is to step into her, the woman that you admire, is you want to forgive, let go, also work on your mom and dad relationship. So that's your feminine and masculine energy. So your masculine is what dad brought to your world, and feminine is what mom brought into your world. So it's not just what you do today, but it's actually the relationships that you got from your parents. And if there is something that you need to work through, that is going to be very crucial for you to be in a healthy relationship. And that will actually help you step into wholeness. So if you want a masculine man that is whole, you also want to become whole. Um, so, some of the things that you want to heal that are feminine. So, number one is your emotions. So, learn to be empathetic. And if you are empathetic, that's great. But there's part two to it. That is learning to emotionally detach. If you don't let go, if you don't let people go, if you are attaching, you're trying to control other people. So, you trying to control other people to staying in your life when you know they're not good in you, that's actually a masculine trait. Control is very masculine. So let go of controlling other people, will help you step into being more feminine. The next thing is mindset. It's transitioning from kind of a victim mindset, which thinks scarcity, where it's like, oh, only he was good to me. There's no other man that will make me feel the way he is, but I've already spent so much years with him. I don't want to let go of what we already built, right? That's scarcity mindset. So you want to switch that into abundance mindset, into a blessed mindset, knowing that, you know what, I outgrew this and I'm ready for something new and something better is out there. So having that shift in your mindset. The third thing is what we just talked about is regulating your nervous system. So getting out of anxiety. Know, find out what makes you anxious. When you're feeling sad, depressed, fearful, shame, guilt, and unforgiveness. So unforgiveness will really affect your nervous system. So you want to forgive others, but also forgive yourself. Forgive that you're maybe falling short. Maybe you're looking at your life and you're like, wow, this is not where I thought I'd be at this age. You thought you'd be married, you'd have children, or whatever your goals were when you were younger, and you see that you haven't met those goals. So you might be very hard on yourself. So learning to also forgive yourself will be huge if you want to step into that feminine energy. Next thing is decentering men and relationships. It's good to want them, but you shouldn't like crave them. You shouldn't be chasing them. It should be, you're a king, you're a queen, he's a king, we're the same level. There's nothing I am chasing because what I chase will run away from you, but it's what I attract. I want to attract a king. I want to attract, my empire, my mansion, right? Instead of I want to chase it. Whatever you chase is not going to come to you. You want to step into that woman that attracts these things into her life. And the way you're going to attract them is by decentering them. So don't make them an idol in your life. Next thing is preparing for the future and the next season of your life. A lot of people don't really prepare themselves for the next season. So, if you want to be a mom, that takes some preparation. Like your body goes through 9 months of you preparing to be a mom. Also, like when you get married, there's that preparation of being engaged, right? And then you prepare for your wedding day, you prepare for the marriage. But a lot of people, what they do is they only think of the wedding day, but they haven't really prepared themselves for the marriage. Wedding day is just one day, a couple of hours, but marriage is years. And a lot of people, they hurry into that next relation, into that next season of their life, but they're not prepared. They don't ask their partners the right questions. They're not even sure if they're in alignment, if they have the same values. They kind of talk about superficial things like, okay, how many kids do we want? Where do we want to live? Boom, boom, boom. Kind of like these, but there's depth to it. Like you're going to be living with this person for many, many, many years. Like you want to see if like, okay, what's attracting us? Is it really just like we love each other and it's superficial, or is there depth in our relationship? Is this really the person I want to grow old with? If I am sick, will they take care of me? Do I want to take care of them when they are sick? Is there this kind of like give and take type of dynamic? Or am I only giving? Or are you only receiving? Are you being kind of selfish? So it's a combination of the two. that will get you a long lasting relationship. Also, do you guys communicate well? Like, does he hear you out? Do you hear him out? Do you guys meet each other's needs? So those are the things that you want to look out for in a lifetime partner. So a lot of people think that they're chasing the next season, but they haven't really been preparing today, where they are today. Um, so um, really, really prepare for the next season in your life. Be present today and prepare yourself for the future. And the next thing I wanted to talk about, um, oh, I wanted to mention this about, being prepared is if you're not prepared, that thing will control you instead of you controlling it. So, you know how I talked about not controlling the other person? Control is very masculine, but what you want to do is control you. So, if you get into a marriage, into a relationship, but you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, that means that you haven't taken accountability of the things that you are responsible for. So if you're going to be a wife, there's things you got to learn. What kind of wife do you want to be? Do you want to be the type of wife that stays home, cooks, cleans? You want to learn some of those things, right? So that's becoming accountable. Or maybe you are also working, so maybe you want more of a partnership where he works, you work, you guys do these chores around the house together. All of those things you want to talk about. But what a lot of people think that, okay, we'll just get married and everything is going to be cool. But then they get married, but they've never talked about their roles. Are we going to have traditional roles or kind of more modern Western type of roles, right? That's what you want to prepare for, is that accountability. What is our life? What is my next season going to look like? And the last thing to be really feminine and becoming her is having a fulfilled life. And fulfilled life looks like you have a lot of relationships in your life. So you have a relationship with God, you have a relationship with family, with friends, maybe you have children, maybe you've been avoiding some of the things with your children. Maybe you haven't really been being like a present mom. Maybe you haven't really been, maybe you're a little like too like codependent with your children where they are too dependent on you and you haven't really found time for yourself. So having that healthy dynamic with your children and with yourself, finding time for yourself, making sure that you have hobbies and interests and routines, that you find time for yourself. So, and the core to all of this, the word that I want you to take away from this is become passionate. Become passionate about changing your mindset. Become passionate about even like transitioning into emotionally detaching from people. Become passionate about regulating your nervous system, about preparing for the future, and decentering men. So if you become passionate about these things, you will learn to love these things, and life will become much easier if you just fall in love with the process of growing. So if you found these tips helpful and you want to go deeper into this, you want to learn more, I do have a few options available. I have a course. It's a 4-week course for women and men, that you can glow up different areas of your life. I will put more in the description. Or also, I offer one-on-one coaching for men and for women. If you want to heal some of these things that you are struggling with, one-on-one coaching is also available, and I will put everything in the description below. And I hope you found this helpful, and now you can really step into that divine feminine energy, into the woman that you admire.